Hi guys, welcome to De5ign Branding's YouTube channel. My name is Alex. I am the team's design expert. I'm sitting here talking with Ethan Sample. He is the branding expert on the team. So let's jump into it. He is going to talk to us a little bit about how to build a successful brand. He's going to give 4 different tips. So why don't you start us off with the first one?
Okay, so the first step in trying to develop your brand image or just in general your business, you really need to define with your audience how you want to be perceived. And what that means is essentially after your customers use your product or your service, you want them to be able to describe that service or that product in a positive way, and you want that to resonate within the target audience and sort of kind of flow out into this, like, I don't know, you want your product to have just a really good image within the minds of the audience you're trying to target, essentially the stakeholders. Okay, so also the second tip would be you need to organize your business based on that same promise. So whatever positive image, that's why it's really bad actually if you lose reputation as a brand. Having that negative image is really hard to actually base anything else off of that promise, because that's the kind of promise you fulfilled in their head already. And so that's why it's really good to get a first step in the positive direction. And this is just building off of that by saying that you need to base your future promises off of that first initial interaction you had where they actually viewed your company as something good. For example, you'll have to find a way to maximize the number of customers, served in one particular thing, and then how those messages are kind of playing out within that company or within that audience to be able to really determine that promise.
And how do you communicate that promise?
Well, Alex, that's funny that you asked me to communicate this to you, but essentially you have to then communicate the promise, like she said, and that means that all your marketing material, all of your social media, everything that you do, breathe, live as a business or as an identity, as an entity, has to communicate that exact same thing. Quality over quantity, or just product value and what you place an emphasis on in your corporation or your brand. So, for instance, that could be quality, like I said. It could be customer service based. There are a lot of ways to do it. You can even be a marketing based where your messages are just the coolest, kind of like Apple. Their messages are the coolest, and they always communicate their promise to inspiring the creative by giving them an innovative product to be able to use as a canvas, essentially. And so that's kind of communicating the process or the promise.
And what would you say the 4th and final step would be?
The 4th, final, and most important step is being consistent. And while also being consistent, you need to factor in a stewardship factor. And what that is having two-way communication between your target audience and your company or your brand. And so what that means is that they have open channels for which they can contact you, and you have open channels for which you can contact them. And in a lot of ways, that's also social media, but that's also just being consistent through your identity and how you conduct business with people. Your customer service has to be the pinnacle of what you place importance on, and the quality of your product has to be, or service has to be, the pinnacle of what you place emphasis on. It's kind of a balance between the two, but also having stakeholders and stuff as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.